Blog
Am I still
Talk
here?
Radio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my show. I'm your host, Dianna Bellerose, award-winning and best-selling author, Fire and Ice, The Journey of Transformation, and The White Within. You can find out more about me on my website, diannabellerose.com, as well as download today's podcast and the past podcasts full with useful tools to cope with any situation you're facing nowadays. And you'll be able to learn how to build your life again if you're having some difficulties or you want to find out how to deal with, in a relationship, how to deal in domestic violence situation, how to deal into abusive relationship. Every tool is in my past podcast from guests who have been in your situation and how they were talking about how they were able actually to rebuild their life and go after their dreams and have what they always dreamed of. And today we have a new guest. His name is David Huber. He was first and foremost a technologist, a computer science, with a long successful established career with technology companies in the Silicon Valley. And he's with us today on the phone, and he's going to talk about himself and his book titled Invisible Stalker. So, hi, David Huber. How are you today?
I'm great. Hi, Dianna. Thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome. We cannot wait to learn about your book and about your story. You have a lot to share with us today.
Certainly, yeah. Well, my book is called Invisible Stalker, and it's available on Amazon.com. And the book is a book that I was going to publish as fact or nonfiction. And due to the sensitivity of what's in my book, it's my actual story. And I don't use a character's name. The character in the book is my name. And I publish it as fiction. It's a truth that's really hard to tell, and some truths have to be told as a story. And so what I did is I took the truth and I crafted it as a fiction. So you can imagine publishing a book like this would be very difficult on my future career. It'd make it more difficult to get a job. The byline on my book, it's The Invisible Stalker by David Huber, my targeted involvement in a military conspiracy to kill President Barack Obama. And basically what happened, I give you a little synopsis. I had a great career. I was in Silicon Valley working for large technology companies such as Oracle, Netscape, and McAfee. And I took a little hiatus after my involvement in these companies. And I was living in San Francisco. And as you know, San Francisco has a large indigent population. And I had met some indigent people. And, I'm a very gracious and kind person, and I'd invite them into my home and learn more about them, help them out a little bit. And somehow I got involved with a certain group of people that were now I know called targeted individuals that were being influenced by a technology that I later came to realize that it's a government technology. And it has to do with a type of mind control. And the year was somewhere around 2008. I just finished working at McAfee, and I decided to take my break. And I got involved with this group of people, and things got really, really, really strange. I remember being first indoctrinated in this technology. I was alone in my apartment, and somehow my home was invaded. I woke up, and I looked at the front door of my apartment. I had a very nice Eddy Street apartment in the Western Addition, and my front door was blown off its hinges. And it's a big apartment building, so you'd think a ruckus of that type would be noticed by my neighbors, but it wasn't. My door was in my hallway, and I felt like I was just beat up, like I'd been manhandled. And I looked over my body and I saw a fair amount of bruising. And I go, what in the world happened? And so I get up and I call my friend Maria and I go, Maria, something's weird happened at my house. I want you to come over. I go, look at everything in the apartment. And I wasn't I was a bachelor, so I wasn't the neatest person in the house, but my house was completely cleaned and vacuumed. My computer, which was often disheveled, and as a technologist, I'd like to componentize my computer and have the different parts in different places so I can easily switch out components, was all reassembled and screwed back together. And I'm going, this is really odd. My safe was right open, and nothing was stolen. I had some valuable watches and some jewelry in there, but nothing was stolen. My bed was made. My bathroom was cleaned. And Maria goes, well, let's look at your body. Take off your clothes. I go, okay. And she goes, gosh, where'd you get all these bruises? This is horrible. And then she looks at the back of my arm, and she goes, there's an injection site on the back of your arm, right, my tricep. I go, what? And she goes, you're not like shooting some sort of drug, are you? And I go, well, number one, I wouldn't shoot in the back of my arm if I were. I don't think that works. And number two, no. And she goes, well, that's really weird. It looks like someone gave you a hot shot or doped you. And I go, wow. And so I didn't know quite what was happening. I'm very confused. And so I went on about my business, and I started to hear things. It was, just a small voice at first. And I got to say, this actually may have happened while I was still at McAfee. The timeline's a little confusing because in my book I put it there, so I'm looking at it now. Timeline's a little confusing. So it was still while I was at McAfee. I hadn't quit yet. And so that's when I decided to quit the work and go on this little break, right? And so I started hearing these strange voices. And first it was a very female-sounding voice. Now, we all know when we think to ourselves or read a book, it's a silent voice. My voice was no longer silent. I could hear clearly a mechanical voice like you would hear on a computer system. And it would tell me everything I was doing. I'd sit in front of my computer and go, oh, you're looking at your computer. Oh, you're putting in your password. Your password is this. Oh, you're going to go do this. You're going to go do that. And it was very, very, it was kind of playful, kind of experimental. And this went on for some time. But as you can imagine, the insanity that would ensue from having this happen, a complete lack of privacy. It was as if whatever this technology was could listen through my ears, see out my eyes, and understand my thought. And as time went on, I noticed something else very specific about what was happening to me. This not only had control over what I would hear, what I was thinking, but also had subtle control over my emotions. So the feeling of anger it could induce, the feeling of physical pleasure it could induce. It could induce fear. And so as I started analyzing this, I go, my God, if they can do this, what else they can do? And so I concluded that if this technology somehow could control the basis of emotions, it would be easy to assign emotion to thought and change our behavior.
Yeah. And we have a caller, sorry, David. Who is this? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Who is online? Yeah. Do you have a question for David? Can you introduce yourself, please? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Oh, me?
Can you hear me? Yeah. Do you have a question for David? And what is your name?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, we're talking to you. This is David Huber. Hi. What's your question?
Oh, hi. No, I don't. I mean, you invited me to listen to the call, so I did. I'm just listening. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Just so you know, oh, great. Do you have anything in particular about what you've heard so far that might pique your interest?
No, I'm a TI as well, and I was just listening.
How long have you been getting some?
Since 2013.
Since 2013. Yeah, mine started about right before 2008 or right around the 2008 time frame. Are you a victim of remote neural monitoring and voice-to-skull?
Yes. No, I get remote neural monitoring. I don't get voice-to-skull, but I do get tortured severely. I get severe physical torture from the dude.
Yeah, no, that's happening a lot and a lot more. Mine started out very similar. Before I actually really noticed it, it became really evident. I think there's two types of things we're talking about here. One, I think there's an American interface to this technology.
Mm-hmm.
But as a technologist and as someone who knows the current state of both commercial and military-grade computational technology, I was involved in sales to the U.S. Army for their military technology. And as someone who knows some of their technology, it's not capable of targeting the thousands and thousands of people that are targeted around the world. Sure, maybe a few thousand, right? But it's not capable of the many, many, many people. So if we're talking about a type of technology that is targeting people, the basis, and it's my conjecture and my belief, that the targeting technology is otherworldly. The basis for
it. I believe that as well. Yeah.
So when you get the remote neural monitoring, do we have another call?
No. I do get remote neural monitor. They can see out of my eyes. For instance,
and
when
how
I
do you know they see out of your eyes? What is the indication?
Well, just things that they show me that mimic what I see from my eyes. You know, for instance, if I'm viewing something, they'll show me later on my news feed. Like they will basically like mimic what I see a lot. Even Dr. Robert Duncan told me that this technology does pattern recognition, and so whatever it sees out of your eyes, it can like reproduce the same pattern and show it back to you. This is what it does to me.
Absolutely. In my book, Invisible Stalker, what I do is I go through my experience, and I have several chapters on the technology that is used to see through your eyes. And some of the doctors that are at, it's like Cal Berkeley, Berkeley, Cal. Dr. Yang Deng, and she works for DARPA, and Dr. Gallagher are both working on projects where they use direct and indirect, evasive and non-invasive techniques to scan the mind, and they could have you look at videos and watch what you're looking at on a computer screen.
Right. Okay.
So it gets pretty scary at that point. And do you ever get the sense that you have no sense of privacy?
Oh, of course. I don't. I don't have any privacy at all. If I'm in like the one part of the house, the neighbor will come out. Like literally, I was in one part of the house this morning at about 3:00 in the morning, because I was being targeted bad, and I went to this other side of the house, and when I did, my neighbor came out at like 3:00 in the morning and was standing by my window. And then if I, they know where I'm at every second.
And that's the most interesting part. And I'm going to take a little bit from here. I did a lot of investigation into what people believe gang stalking is. Okay, gang stalking is a phenomenon where you can walk down the street and or you get the impression that people are working for the government or people were working for some sort of secret cause, and they're there to harass you, and they're being either controlled to do this, or they're doing it as a deliberate action for the government. And there's a couple misconceptions in this. And first thing, it is a perceptual issue. And I don't want to say you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you're right. And so what happens is it's the way we perceive what is happening to us, because it is an emotional control system. When we see, let's say, a cop look at us from across the street, it might put a thought in your head. And you might feel a little afraid because it makes you feel afraid. Normally you wouldn't be afraid of a cop looking at you, right? There's a police officer there. He's there to protect and serve. But this time you look at the cop, and the cop's looking at you, and you get an emotion, and then a thought will go to your head. He knows you're guilty of something. And they modify the thought with a corresponding emotion in order to elicit a behavior by you. And what might this behavior be? A distrust of the police.
Right.
And so, the government does not have, government has about 4 million people under payroll. Let's say 3 or 4 million. That's in total. I'm talking IRS, military, everything, right? So that's the whole kit and caboodle, right? About 4 million people on their payroll, which is a roughly, that's a small percentage. If it's like 1%, we're lucky of the entire U.S. population. And there's thousands and thousands of people being gang stalked. The government truly does not have a big enough payroll to pay people to follow you or pay people to gang stalk you. They just don't have the money for it. And so that's one of the things I really took a serious look at. I wanted to know if this was deliberate or if this was something the government was paying these people, because I experienced the same thing. I'd be in my San Francisco apartment, and I would hear a voice and say, go look out the window. And I looked out the window. So before I got the window, it says, you'll see a guy in a ball cap and a striped shirt. And I looked out the window, and I saw a guy in a ball cap and a striped shirt. And he goes, you've been talking too much about this technology to people. He's the street authority. He's going to go tell on you, and people are going to come to your home and kill you. And, of course, I felt the fear. I saw the guy. And I started thinking, I go, wow, okay, what if this thing, whatever it is that tells us all this stuff, right, is a supercomputer, a super-aware computer that could handle talking to thousands of people, maybe of an otherworldly thing. Maybe it could see out the eyes of everyone on the street. Maybe it can see out through the CCTV cameras that are on the street, the traffic control cameras.
Okay. I actually talked to a programmer once from. She had graduated from MIT, and she was a programmer. And she was telling me that they can see out of everybody's eyes, including animals' eyes, and she said even goldfish.
Oh, yeah, and that's very true. Dr. Yang Deng has a whole video on YouTube, how to see out through a cat's eyes, and they put some probes in a cat, a little hat on a cat, and the cat goes running around. You can watch a video of everything it sees.
So when people
even your animals could become part of it, yeah.
When people walk down your street, this is what happens to me. Whenever I get in my car to leave, there's people out there on my street that usually weren't there before, and there's always somebody out there at the exact same time I leave, walking a dog, riding a bike, on a skateboard, at the exact same time. And it never used to have, I never used to have people synchronized to be out in front of my house at the exact same time that I went anywhere.
Oh, of course. I agree with you totally. Things are really changing with the way things happen. And a lot of it is perceptual, but it's a timed perception. And so, I have other theories that I put in my book, but, I don't want to go too far out there, because, I do love the sci-fi. And so, I indoctrinate some of the future technologies and what this could be, but let's just say it is an otherworld technology that can truly interface with wide populations and accumulate all that data and make these things very obvious to you when you're looking at them. The big problem we have as targeted individuals is the only proof that we have is our common narrative and our empathy for each other. We have no other proof, no other real direct proof that would cause the court system to be involved, or would cause a big public outcry, or would cause the medical industry to come alive and go against this. It's a very small number of people that become self-aware that they are being targeted. And so I think it's not just solely an American agenda. I think there's another agenda at large. And I hate to use the word aliens. I really do. But I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah. Well, it's reverse engineered alien technology is what it is.
I agree. Yeah. And you just look how far we've come in the last few years. I have implants on my body by the U.S. government. And so when I talked about being implanted in my apartment after McAfee, now I remember I heard the voices before the U.S. implants. And the U.S. implants consist of there's two things that he put in the ossicles, which is the middle ear, and they're energy to vibration decelerators. And they can become a vibrational component of the inner ear to simulate sound to the brain. It's a very mechanical process. It's like almost having like a miniature Bluetooth implanted in your middle ear. If you put a stethoscope on your middle ear, you won't be able to hear it. It's just vibrational frequencies that stimulate the cochlear and the auditory nerves into creating processed sound in your mind. And so it's very stealthy, but the technology is getting old, and it will be found out someday soon. Additionally, they implant the entire face with these microfibers. It's like I remember, like when I said my door was blew in, I started having flashbacks to what happened. And this was much later, and I remember being roughed up, brought into my room. I remember being completely out of it. I think they gave me a heavy dose of benzodiazepam or like a roofie, so I would forget what happened. And I remember them putting something in my ear like a gun, like some sort of lycoscopic insertion device. It inserted something in my middle ears. I remember them being painful afterwards. I remember them touching my face all over my body with almost like a tattoo gun or something that was leaving an imprint. And I believe these are the fibers that they insert all of your body. And what these do these are microwave reflective fibers. And what they do, they put them all over your face, your mouth, your eyes, around your eyes, on your smile points, on your nose. And what these do is while you're doing this is the reverse engineering part you were talking about. So what happens is, for some reason, you're targeted by an extra-worldly technology. Then if the government finds out about you, they come and say, well, this is another one. Let's implant them with our United States technology, not only to see what we can find out, but to see how we can capitalize on this very otherworldly technology. And I'm not saying they don't work in cahoots with them. I believe that they both work with the aliens, and they also are wary of what the aliens can do. And so I believe it's why America targets people, see how far that they can influence alien technology that targets us. And I believe this technology is not, it seems very hurtful in the beginning, but I believe it's in a way of raising human awareness. I went through quite a transformation of both what I considered myself. I'm a very different person when this all started. After I went to the Secret Service and I told them that the American technology was telling me to assassinate Barack Obama. And I went to the Secret Service, and I had like 12 meetings with them, and I saw a series of Secret Service doctors. At my last meeting, it was on Figueroa Street in downtown Los Angeles on the 13th floor at the Ernst & Young building, which is a Secret Service office. And I get in the office, and my guy Andy, my Secret Service agent Andy, comes up and he goes, look, David, this is off the record. I just got finished talking with you-know-who. He's the president, and he's well aware of this. It was Obama at the time, and he goes, first of all, he wants me to say thank you. And he goes, next, he wants to make this very clear to you. You're never going to get any justice for this. It's way beyond my pay grade even to know what this totally is. You're never going to get any justice. We wanted to bring you in here. We actually wanted to arrest you because, I said these things. And he said, but what you said was too important, and so we're going to watch you the rest of your life. So now my computer is really monitored by the Secret Service. I'll come in one day. They play games with me all the time. Like, how you log in your screen, it tells you the date and the time and your location on Windows 10?
Yeah.
I'm in Arcadia, California. So let's say Arcadia, the weather is this, and the time is this. And I'll come in the next morning, and it'll change to the weather in Washington, D.C. is this, and the date is this, and the time is this. And so they change the date on the computer and its location, just for little things to let me know that they're still watching me. And so
Okay, they torture me horrifically, physically. I get horrific physical torture to the point of I have to use a walker sometimes in the morning because I can barely even walk or stand up from this torture. Do you know the reason for this? Why they're torturing me so bad?
So my theory, and it's a strong one that I have, it's some sort of examination of the human mind to bring us to an additional state of being. And, we all know how we behave when things are good, right? It's to see if we can be at our best when things are bad.
Okay.
And I think whatever this technology or wherever it's from, call it aliens, call it God, call it whatever.
Right.
I believe it's examining us. It's easy to see how someone's going to behave when things are good and they're untortured. When you really see the true nature of a person's soul or psyche is when things are at their worst. And I believe it's in some way, for those of us that can handle it, to bring us to a new awareness, maybe a shared existence with, call it an alien mind, call it a spirit, that will bring mankind to the next level of understanding and help us usher in a new understanding so we can finally be at peace. And I explore some of this in Invisible Stalker, which is available on Amazon.com. And one of the big things I do is I go through a lot of the misconceptions about organized and gang stalking. That's one of the chapters. It's a very good read. And I go all the way through talking about what happened with the U.S. Secret Service, how I heard the military first tell me that I was going to assassinate Barack Obama. And on a particular day, right after the election or right before the election, I had actually gotten in my car with my girlfriend, and she's targeted too. And we were in the Oakland side of the Bay Area, and we're driving across the bridge, and the voice said, "It has begun. You're going to assassinate the president this day." And I'm all, oh no. And I was under complete physical control, and they have chapters outlining this. And I couldn't move, and I couldn't talk, and I couldn't say anything. And I knew I was going to Union Square, which I heard this before, the whole plan, where the president will be there. You're going to go with your gun, and you're going to shoot that son of a gun. The voice would say to me, "Don't look now, but the backpack in your lap is Remy's backpack, and inside there is a .38 pistol, which you'll use to shoot the president at Union Square." And I'm terrified, completely scared out of my wits. I don't know what to do. Am I going to go to Union Square, assassinate become a John Wilkes Booth, and forever be known as a presidential assassin, the first black president of the United States? So I am scared to death. My immediate reaction is, I've got to stop this. I've got to break out of this cycle. If I get any opportunity to move, I'll take it. So I'm in the passenger side, and my girlfriend's driving, and we're crossing the Bay Bridge. I notice I get a little freedom of movement. I jump out the door onto the busy bridge, and I run to the side of the bridge, prepared to jump off and end my life. I will not assassinate the president, disgrace myself, my family, and tarnish the Huber name for generations to come. It wasn't suicide. I considered it self-sacrifice. And so as I go to jump, I'm ready to jump right off that bridge. My legs won't move, and I hear the word "stop," and I can't jump off the bridge. I get back in the car with Remy, and we're driving, and we get down to the Tenderloin area. We're on our way to Union Square, somewhere in San Francisco, the downtown area, and again, I'm under physical control. Yeah, I was directed to go back in the car. I couldn't control it. I had to sit back in the car. I couldn't jump off the bridge. And it goes, "Well, you're on Union Square. You're going to kill the president." And I go, "Oh, no, what am I going to do now?" I got a little bit of control back. I jump out of my car. This time I'm driving. I pushed her to the passenger side this time. This time I'm driving. I take the keys. I see a police officer. I throw him the keys, and I say, "Officer, tow my car, please." He looks at me and goes, "What?" And I go, "Yeah, me and my girlfriend are a little stoned and having a heated argument, and I'm too emotional to drive, and so is she. I need you to tow my car." And he looks confused. He calls additional police officers. There's about 6 of them standing around. "Well, what's the story?" We can't drive anymore. Just do me the favor. I'm not in my car anymore. I'm a little stoned, so, and get picked up for being intoxicated while driving. And I go, "My girlfriend and I are having too big of an argument. Just tow my car. Take it wherever you take cars." I go, "Absolutely. We'll tow your car." "Okay, done." And then Remy starts walking towards Union Square. And the voice goes, "Oh, well, if you're not going to complete the mission, your girlfriend's going to go there and shoot the president. She has the gun in her backpack." And now it became my objective to stop her from, remember, she's targeted too, to stop her from getting to Union Square. So I run to her, I beg, I plead, "You got to stop. I'm a gentle man. I'm not going to, try to physically block her or restrain her in any ways, but I wanted to break the cycle in her. I said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then finally the spell wore off, and we were done. Years later, I moved in with my parents. I didn't want to live alone anymore with this kind of insanity. And I'm going to the Secret Service, and I'm telling them this story. I'm sitting down with two agents, and they go, we know everything about you, every doctor you've seen, every psychiatrist you've talked to. We've talked to every one of your friends. We know you're a nonviolent man. You have no police record. In fact, everyone has nice things to say about you. And they go, we're still watching you intently. You got the federal government up in arms here. And they go, we did some research. And they go, when you turned your car into the police, and we looked at the date, Barack Obama wasn't at Union Square. And I said, what? And I go, no, but he was there 2 weeks later. I go, shoot. And he goes, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but the Secret Service didn't even know his schedule. So somehow I got there 2 weeks before he was actually going to be there, and the Secret Service didn't even know his itinerary at the time.
Okay. Do you think that was a trial run?
I think it was a trial run. Yeah, I definitely think it was a trial run to see if they could get me all the way there. If they could get me all, make it a lot easier the next time.
Mm-hmm.
We are out of time. The show is almost over. I want to let you know. So, David, can you please share the places where people can buy the book? And thank you so much for the cover. And I'm sorry you're going to.
Sure. Thank you, Dianna.
I think I'm going to. Yeah.
Okay, it's www.invisiblestalker.com. That's www.invisiblestalker.com, all one word. And I've had some trouble with my domain name. I think it gets blocked sometimes. So if you have trouble, go to Amazon Books and look up Invisible Stalker by Huber. That's Huber, and it should be able to find it. The Dianna's webpage, and on there she has some links to it too, and so it makes it really easy.
Yeah, you can find out on Blog Talk Radio. The link is there, blogtalkradio.com/Dianna Bellerose. The book is there, so is my website and my blog spot. I'm going to have everything there from today's show.
Are you going to have a recap?
Yes, definitely.
Are you going to have a recording of this up there?
Yes, David. You can
excellent! Thank you so much. I just want to put a big shout out for Dianna. The work she's doing is so important.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you to the caller who is doing that. And I hope we can end this with our stories, and we'll be able to make other people's lives better, because there are lots of targeted individuals, including me. So I
do have some coping skills in the book too. So a lot of it, I do have some coping skills and how to deal and embrace the situation, because fighting it and running from it just makes it a lot more difficult. If it's not illegal and if it doesn't hurt you or others, you can embrace some of this and understand it a little bit better. The military involvement is totally atrocious. They wanted Barack Obama dead. First black president, a president that may not have. There's a lot of controversy. I'm not going to say anything about him. I like Barack Obama, but there was a lot of controversy regarding his presidency, and you can imagine how the old power structure, especially the old military structure, which Barack Obama was against, might want him dead.
Of course.
Exactly.
Of course.
Okay. Again, Invisible Stalker by David Huber. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for calling. Bye-bye.
Okay, I'll send you that. I'll send you that copy. Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, please do. Bye.